chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome, one and all. Yes. It's another episode. It's that time of the day again. All Fool's Day or not, it's that time of the day. Yep, it's no lie. It's 5:03 approximately, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. Yes, and it's time for another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Yes, hello to our family near and far. It's good to have you with us, and welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Voices of the Islands, conversations for the world, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I am Sabrina, and like I said, it's good to be back with you here today, and that's the truth. It's not a lie, because it all fooled day. But yes, the mic is yours. Yes, the mic is all yours today. We've got a short week. Just one more day, and then we're into the official Easter weekend. All this week is Holy Week, and Friday is a public holiday, and so is Monday. So I know a lot of you are already out there camping, and from what I'm hearing in the forecast, you're going to be having a wet couple of days. Yeah, but it's a forecast. Let's see. It may be April's Fool's Day, but we're keeping it real and keeping it honest. Yes, and today we're opening up the lines and opening up the conversation to you, each and every one of you. So pretty much from the headlines that are shaping our islands to the stories that shape our day, I wonder how much of you went on a wild goose chase today, or you got that weird call. I wonder how much Anna got pinch, or just, I can tell you what, today was a little challenging, making sure that I was putting together the right news segment because of the day. But the good thing to remember is that this is your space to speak up, to sound off, and to share what matters to each and every one of you. So please tell a friend. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let them know that Sabrina Speaks is live right here on cmrtv.com. And, let's turn things up and get ready because, like I said, the mic is officially yours. The number to call in and be a part of this live discussion, we're here until 7 p.m., is 345-936-8255. You can also WhatsApp me there as well. And always feel free to put your comments as well from whatever platform you are streaming from to be a part of this discussion as well. So that's 936-8255 to be a part of this conversation. But please remember, the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional, legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Good evening, one and all, as you take your time and stroll on in. It is good to be here with you this evening. And like I said, I was looking at one forecaster's prediction. I think the weatherman, Sandra had him on his show. He's saying there's a blob of rain over our area that's going to pretty much be in our area between tonight, tomorrow, and could be into all day Friday. Yeah. So, but camping is camping, right? Yeah, I'm quite sure you all are ready for that. But you know what? We keep it real. We're going to tell you what this evening's weather forecast is. Again, thanks to our friends over there at the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. So today's evening and tomorrow forecast, the synopsis calls for moderate winds and moderate to rough seas are expected, especially across the eastern and northern coasts, as the pressure gradient begins to gradually weaken over the Northwest Caribbean. A small craft advisory is in effect for tonight. Now, moderate winds and seas are expected by tomorrow as the high pressure gradient continues to weaken. Moisture embedded within the low-level wind flow can produce a few showers for the next few days, and radar imagery shows isolated showers mainly south drifting towards the west. Now, the forecast for tonight is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall near the mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. A small craft advisory is in effect, and small craft should exercise caution over open waters, especially along the north and east coast. Within the reef and sheltered areas, conditions are generally less severe, but operators again should continue to exercise discretion as localized choppy conditions may still develop. Now, the forecast for tomorrow is calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of afternoon showers. Temperatures will rise near mid-80s and winds will be easterly 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. There will be a high tide this evening at 9:40, a low tide tomorrow morning at 3:38, and another high tide at 9:11 a.m. tomorrow. The sun will set this evening at 6:38 and sun will rise tomorrow at 6:19. Now, the outlook is calling for moderate winds and seas expected through Saturday. So there you have it. That is your evening's weather update for all of you who are out there braving the elements. Yes, kudos to all of you. And like I said, it's really not me. I'll visit, but it's not me. So, but I applaud all of you for just making this a tradition. Let's see what's making news. OMG, there's a lot making news, not only locally, regionally, but around the world. And let's get straight to it. Yes, in local news, making today's Sabrina Speaks news roundup, the Ministry of Tourism, Trade and Development has installed new public beach signage at Smithback Adair. Now, marking the first phase of a wider initiative to enhance public beach experiences across all 3 islands. The sign is the first of 14 planned locations and promotes shared responsibility for keeping Cayman's beaches clean, safe, and welcoming. Registration for this year's DG 5K reached a record 3,000 registered participants, marking the largest turnout in the event's history, and the final run under Deputy Governor Frans Manderson as he prepares for retirement this summer. Now, proceeds will benefit Special Olympics, Cayman Islands, Jasmine, and the Breast Cancer Foundation. The Department of Environmental Health confirms that there will be no garbage collection on Good Friday, and all landfills will be closed on April 3rd. Collections and landfill operations resume on Saturday, April 4th. On Easter Monday, the Georgetown landfill closes at 1 p.m., while Kimmenbrack and Little Cayman close at 4 p.m. as normal. More on the local front. CUC is advising customers that while April's fuel costs remain stable, Global tensions, particularly in the Middle East, could lead to higher diesel prices in the months ahead. Because diesel powers most of Cayman's electricity, an increase in global fuel costs will be reflected in local bills. With the hotter months approaching, CUC is encouraging customers to monitor their energy use through mid-month reports and daily alerts, noting that higher consumption combined with rising fuel prices may result in increased electricity bill later this year. And the Ministry of Education and Training has opened applications for the Early Childhood Assistance Program for the 2026-27 academic year. ECAP provides up to $937 per month towards tuition at approved early childhood centers, supporting access to quality early learning for Caymanian children. Now, applications are available at moeapplications.gov.ky. That's moeapplications.gov.ky. And in other local news today, we celebrate along with recognizing key staff. Yes, key staff of the Water Authority, because they're honoring 9 staff members making significant milestone anniversaries. With tenures spanning 5 to 20 years, the organization expressed its appreciation to their long-standing commitment and the impact they make each day in delivering essential services to the Cayman Islands. Now we can see here, Casey Hickman for 20 years, George Miller for 20 years, Nelson Carrasio for 20 years as well, Melvin Hudson for 20 years, Nakia Chantelope for 15 years, Carlos Mena for 5 years, Matthew Miller, 5 years, and Gianno McLaughlin, 5 years, and Ricardo Clark, also 5 years. From all of us here, thank you for your service as well, and congratulations to each and every one of you in this milestone. That is so good when you see that in an organization. It speaks volumes, to be honest with you. Yes. And more on the local front. Guess what? The Cayman Islands National Museum is excited and extended their thanks to everyone who took part in its recent quadrille workshop. Yes, that event brought together participants of all ages to celebrate Caymanian music, movement, and tradition, creating a meaningful multi-generational experience. Now it looks as though they had a lot of fun, and OMG, what a time that must have been. I wonder how much of you right now could actually shake a leg on the quadrille floor. But it looks like it's good. Maybe I could join in on the next round. What do you think? What do you think about that? That will be a good thing. Me and Connie, you think we could pull it off? Just bear with me as I get the next images for our regional and international headlines, making today's, I don't have a producer, so you know how it goes. I got to do what I got to do. There we go. We're getting there. And but it's good when you see that mix of age groups there as we celebrate our heritage, which is so much a part of us. And for us to make it all happen, come together as one. That is an exciting time. And, I will keep you all posted as well with all of the events that are taking place and happening. Once I am aware of it, to be honest with you, I will definitely keep you abreast of all of the happenings so that we can share in this space, learn, be aware. And the most important thing is to just go out and support it. That is really what is the biggest takeaway, because we all are making it. We have to do what we have to do to preserve our heritage and our culture. And that is one of those things that actually proves that we come together when you have events like that. Oh, yes, we do. We're going to turn our attention right now to news that is making the region and definitely international news as well. So just bear with me. Yeah, we're starting this evening in our regional news with the Barbados. Yes, Barbados has been named the safest travel destination in the Americas and Caribbean for 2026, according to Travel and Tour World. Now, the island topped a new global ranking, outperforming several South American and regional destinations. So we know we're not far behind either because we're seeing record numbers right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. Also, Jamaica has launched its AI Readiness Assessment Methodology, or RAM report, providing the country's first comprehensive evaluation of its digital and technological landscape. Developed with support from UNESCO, the report outlines Jamaica's strengths in data protection and digital policy, while identifying gaps in infrastructure, research, and AI governance. Now, it forms the foundation for a national roadmap towards ethical and sustainable AI adoption. So if you think we're not embracing this AI, you got another guest coming. Turning our attention to the UK right now. So Keir Starmer is being accused of what critics call enormous complacency in his approach to the state of the UK's armed force. Now, the criticism forces on whether current defense planning, investment, and readiness levels are adequate at a time of heightened global tensions and increased pressure on military capabilities. Also in news out of the UK this evening, the UK minimum wage has increased to £12.71 an hour, making one of the largest rises in recent years. Now, while the change is expected to boost earnings for lower paid workers, business groups caution that the higher rate could strain smaller companies already dealing with rising costs and economic uncertainty. Some firms warn that the increase may actually affect hiring and pricing decisions in the months ahead. Focusing our attention now to the United States. President Trump made a history today by attending the Supreme Court arguments in a high-stakes case on birthright citizenship. The first time a sitting president has ever been present for oral arguments. Now, the court is renewing his executive order, seeking to end automatic citizenship for children born in the United States to undocumented or temporary visa parents. The case challenges long-standing interpretations of the 14th Amendment, with a ruling expected by early summer. We will continue to follow that as well. And turning our attention to Dubai, yes, all the way over there, because guess what? Dubai is moving ahead with plans to become a fully cashless city this year. Now, under the Dubai cashless strategy, all payments across government and private sectors will transition to digital models, phasing out the use of physical notes and coins. Officials expect cashless transactions to make up around 90% of all payments by year's end, a shift projected to boost economic growth by more than 8 billion dirhams annually. You see where we're going? Yeah. Tokenized gold has surpassed $6 billion in the market value, reflecting a sharp increase in demand for digital safe haven assets. Now, analysts say investors are turning to blockchain-based gold products for their ability to trade around the clock, particularly as the Middle East tensions rise and cryptocurrency markets remain volatile. The trend underscores growing interest in combining traditional assets with real-time digital accessibility. That's how quickly the world is changing. And yes, we turn our attention now to the business roundup for today, just before we focus the attention on a feel-good story, because yes, I have one of those for you as well. Global markets closed higher on the first day of April, with U.S. stocks posting solid gains, and the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Dow all ended in positive territory as easing geopolitical tensions helped lift investor confidence. Now, European markets also rallied while oil prices edged slightly lower, supporting the broader risk-on mood. Now, in the region, Caribbean markets were mixed at the close. Jamaica's JSE index saw modest gains, while Trinidad and Tobago's composite index held steady. Here at home, the Cayman Islands Stock Exchange reported light but stable trading activity, reflecting the cautious optimism seen across global markets. Yes, there you have it. We are actually making those news as well. I found a good news story today that I wanted to share with you. Yeah, I just need to find the blooming image because that's hard to find. Anyhow, I'm going to share it with you to avoid taking up time, but I would have really liked to get the image of the lady because guess what? One of Britain's oldest residents has celebrated her 112th birthday with a message of resilience for the world. Her name is Marjorie Hudnett, and she was born in London just months before World War I. Now, that marked the milestone at her age in her care home, and they celebrated her today, where staff held a party in her honor. Now, she reminded everyone to make the best of whatever life throws at you. And Marjorie, now in the fifth oldest person in the Northwest, was also presented with a birthday card signed by King Charles, and a moment, her family says, left her absolutely thrilled. Oh my gosh. And that is not a prank story. That's actually real. That's real. Can you imagine living to 112? Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm going to try to find it, but I won't take up any more of the time because I got a lot. The mic is yours. Of course. Yes, yes, yes. The mic is yours today. And I want to hear from all of you today. Happy birthday to everyone who's celebrating a birthday. Yes. Even if it's All Fool's Day, who says anything about that? Anything wrong with that? It's even those who born on Halloween. Happy birthday. Celebrate life. And anniversaries. Yeah, it'll be interesting. How much wedding anniversaries would actually take place on the 1st of April? That's something I could probably look up. But whatever you're celebrating, happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy milestone for whatever it is. It could be a mark of a good day. You go back in history and you think about it. Oh, that happened on All Fool's Day. Yeah. So from all of us here on Sabrina Speaks, happy birthday. And, for all of those who are also mourning the loss of a loved one, I join on this platform because we're all one family, and this man is well known to us. We are asked to announce the passing of Mr. Alvin Bradford Connor, who passed away on March the 23rd. Yes, and the family has put this into circulation, and even though we don't have a date as yet, a Thanksgiving service will be announced at a later date. Now, condolences can be registered at churchhillsfuneralhome.com. For more. So our sincere condolences go out to the Connor family. And, our thoughts and prayers are with you. This man is well known for all that he's done in our community. And that's another one of our very own that is gone to another place. Yes. So our thoughts and prayers are with all of you as you go through and navigate this difficult time. Well, good evening to all of you. I see y'all coming in slowly but surely. It's good to be back with you today. And it is your time. It is your time. So make sure. I heard Siobhan, she wanted to offload yesterday. Poor Siobhan. But this is her time. And Connie got in some trouble on Saturday or over the weekend. Let me grab these images. For all of you who knows Connie, she is in love with orchids. Yeah. And oh my gosh, thank you for sharing these with me, Connie Bonnie. And I'm going to upload these right now so that I can share with you. But yeah, Miss Lucille in the UK. Hi, how are you on this 1st of April? Hope that you're having a good day. And nobody fooled you today. Hope nobody fooled you today, Miss Lucille. Tell them don't mess with you, huh? It's good to see you as well. Connie Bonnie, yes, is in the house. Damian Henry is also here. He says, good evening, all. You can't move forward feeling if you're still dragging the weight of yesterday. You're so right, because it's gone. You'll never get it back. never ever get it back. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yes, good evening. Then to the rest at home, I am under the weather, but all safe. Hope you get better soon. Yes, please, 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 please feel better soon. Carol's in the house. Yeah, I'm not even gonna cuss you today. Tartarian, good evening. Cool, 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 cool. Hope you're enjoying the Wednesday. One day step closer to, calling it the end of a work week. Yeah, for all of you who are not in the uniform service or don't work shift. For those of you who are camping and out there. Yeah. Hope you're looking forward to it. Miss Dorothy, how are you? Welcome, welcome as well. Hey, Miss Rose Campbell, good to see you. Good evening, beautiful people. Blessings upon blessing, everyone. Yes, and to you as well. Don is in the house as well. How's your orchids? Did you do any damage at that orchid show over the weekend, Don? I wonder what you did. You too, you too. But it's good. I applaud all of you guys who are into this planting stuff. I know Andrew clearly says you can't eat ornamentals, but if you kill everything, what should I do? Just put it, I'll keep the farmers happy. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Hey, Jeremy. San looking pretty. Oh, thank you very much, Jeremy. Much, much appreciated. Yes, yes, yes. Let me get those in studio, my sweet, so that we can share with our audience. Connie Bonnie, what trouble you've been up to? Yes, let's see what trouble Connie has been in. Let me load them up here as we get in today's open mic segment, because we're going to have a short week, and usually Friday is open mic. So I said, you know what? It's All Fools Day. Oh gosh, that didn't sound right. No. Don't read me wrong. What I'm saying is it was, oh gosh, I can't even rebound from that one. Not because it's April Fools, because we're serious here. I just said, you know what? Why not bring why don't we bring the open mic forward? That did not come out right. So yeah, the mic is yours. And what triggered it, to be honest with you, is Siobhan calling yesterday and saying, she didn't realize we were on. She just wanted to get whatever was on her mind off. But I said, you know what? Let's see if we can stick on topic today, because we were honoring women yesterday. And thank you for all of the positive feedback that we've been receiving even after the show. And I can see that a lot of you appreciated that. Even just now before coming live, I was getting comments on it. People are just catching up today. But yeah, thank you so much for making yesterday another historic day. Yeah, it is part of her history. Why not embrace it? Look at what trouble Connie went up to. This is some of the pictures that she shared with me. And look at those orchids that Connie went. Oh my goodness, this woman, what are we going to do with you, Connie Bonnie? These are beautiful. Look at these. Oh my goodness. Now, I would give them maybe 7 days in my house, or in my care, I should say, if that. And then they would just go to another flower land. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Jeez. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. These are beautiful. For all of you orchid lovers out there, for everything that's going on. This must be so calming at your place, Connie. This is so, so calming to just watch. But for me, they wouldn't last a minute. Not with me. Oh, no, they would not last. But I will enjoy them from a distance. And I will continue with my little periwinkles and my little black mint tea. Yeah, they are treating me well. They are treating me well, I must say. So that's as far as I can go with it. Did you all know right now that around the world, let me just switch gears right now, if you didn't realize it, that millions right now around the world are standing by as pretty much history is making. History, I know what fooled me. I just fooled my, okay. Ay. Anyhow, right now, history is in the making, because what you're seeing here is Artemis 2. These astronauts are getting ready to blast off to the moon. They're not going to do a moon landing. And these astronauts, this is an image captured earlier today 4 will be in this this rocket that's about to take off. They will be orbiting the moon, and engines. This is in our lifetime, it's history, because in just moments, this spacecraft is going to just blast off into space. Yes, they have been preparing for this for quite some time. They had a little glitch. That glitch has been repaired now, and the mission is controlled, has confirmed that all systems are green, and they're getting ready to get set. And it is that time. So this is a technical milestone. Yes, this is more than a technical milestone. It's a reminder of humanity's enduring drive to definitely push beyond the horizon. So this is something that's, like I said, there's 1 female and 3 males on this expedition, and they're going to orbit the moon. From what I'm getting, we will be seeing images of the side of the moon that it hasn't really been seen before. So this is definitely huge for us here at this time, for seeing where technology is going and how far we have advanced. And I saw an image earlier on with them saying their goodbyes to their families. Now, that was mixed for me, because here we are. Yes, they're doing a great work for humanity, but these guys are not even sure. So, oof, it's big, but somebody got to do it, right? Somebody has to do it. So, yeah, I wish them all the luck, but yeah, that's happening. NASA is actually getting ready to launch. I don't think, based on the projected path, that we're going to see it here, but you can definitely watch it on your media channels. I will watch it after this, definitely. So 345-936-8255 is the number to call on this April 1st. And I'm giving the mic over to each and every one of you this evening, whatever is bothering you. But it is time for us to hear from you. You always like to do it if it's something bugging you. But for those of you who were wondering, it is what it is. Today is April Fool's Day, Tom Fool Day. And it pushed me to really look at it to see what it was all about. Yeah. And I couldn't find one piece of, say, where it was derived. But picture it from this perspective. Just see if you can take your memory back as far as you could go. But like in, let's say, 1500s in France. Think of there being the days where there was no phones, no WhatsApp, no Google, no good morning broadcast or texts, just people minding their own business and celebrating New Year at the end of March, like they'd always done. Now, I'm talking about back in France in the 1500s. It's all going to make sense, right? Then one day, the king says, surprise, we're changing the calendar. New Year now starts on January 1st. Well, guess what? Based on my research and what it says, some folks did not get the memo. Remember, you're talking about the 1500s. And some ignored it completely. And some just said, I've been celebrating it in April for all of my life. Why stop now? So when March rolled around again, these happy, unsuspecting souls were still ringing in the new year, and the rest of France decided to have a little fun with them. So what they did, they stuck paper fish on their backs, played tricks, and called them April fish, which basically meant, you sweet, gullible thing. And just like that, the first April Fools were born. But look, here's a twist. Long before France was pranking people with paper fish, humans were already in a springtime mood, right? And ancient Romans, they said, had a festival called Hilaria, where everyone dressed up and poked fun at each other. And in Scotland, people sent each other on these wild goose chases. Hint, hint, you get it? And in India, Holi brought color, laughter, and playful teasing. Now, it's almost as if when you look at this, the entire world agreed that without ever meeting, look at how the world just did this without even meeting, that spring is the perfect time to shake off seriousness of life and have a little fun. So guess what? Fast forward to today, April 1st. It has become a global permission to sip and laugh, prank, and not take ourselves too seriously. Yes, because even news stations run fake stories, which is why I had some issues today, really making sure that what I was reporting made sense and it wasn't a prank. And we know friends who pull harmless tricks on people, and somewhere, maybe someone is still, sticking a paper fish on somebody's back. So, yeah, the real history of April Fool's Day is really patchwork of cultures and calendars and centuries of human mischief. But the heart of it is just simple. And this is what you got to remember. We all need a day to laugh and play and to remember that, the joy is part of the journey. So if you didn't know it before, my friends, that's why April Fool's Day lives on. So if you look at the similarities, even with way it happened from back in the 1500s, if you didn't know, I grew up knowing it as Tom Fool's Day and all that sort of stuff. And this one call you, and some of them pranks can be serious. Some of them can be rough. I mean, they will call you and they'll be serious and you're just down, or they catch you off guard. And, you just believe it because it's not registering. It's Tom Fool's Day, right? And some people really take this thing hard. But the good thing is I've shared the history of where it's derived. And if you didn't know, now you know, because this goes back further than you think. And when you're looking at from France to India, and here we are right now with it still ongoing, it's just amazing how it has evolved into becoming this day where people, one of the things I know, I've had friends who are like, they're expecting babies and they're like, for God's sake, don't make my baby born on All Fool's Day. Because it comes with the stigma that you're silly, that you're stupid. And you've heard just jokes that refer to that sort of stuff saying, you must be born on April 1st. Yeah, that kind of rough still. But it would be interesting how much people actually get married on the 1st of April. Yeah. Or maybe to some, it doesn't matter. What are your thoughts? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're getting on today. 936-8255 is the number to call to join in this open mic segment here on Sabrina Speaks as we dive in or get ready to embrace all of the weekend's happenings. And definitely, we're not short of places to go, people to see as you embrace and embark on the Easter holidays, wherever. Maybe you're going to be traveling and you may be actually staying home here with friends and you're going to go camping or glam. Whatever it is you're planning on doing, I hope that you be safe and that this is something I know for a fact all of us look forward to here in the Cayman Islands. Yeah. We don't have that one. Hold on, I'm just looking at some stuff here. So yeah, I would like to hear from you today. What's bothering you? What's bothering you? What's on your mind? I dedicated this show to you. Just let's look. It's not all the time I'm going to be coming with hard hitting stuff and no joke. This is real. Today, it's really your show today. I want to put the attention on you and open the mic to you for whatever is bothering you, what's on your mind, what is something that is pressing. I did get some update, or somebody had asked me an update on what's going on with the show that Sandra had brought you guys on the people from the Philippines and Nepal. I personally don't have an update on that, but in regards to the processes that I highlighted with the Washington PE office for even Nepalese, that I understand is still in play. So I leave it to the powers that be in our government that they will actually do what is necessary in their reforms as well, to make sure that however they can, unless something changes, there was no evidence to prove that the process of reporting to them has changed. So yeah, this is something that we'll probably see a change. And if you're going to be an employer of persons from Nepal and from the Philippines, this may be a turning point where you will see change actually happens. So this is something that if you're not familiar with, you want to keep abreast of your local media stations and compliance with WORC. And as we're on that, remember, they have given a reminder that even though their offices are going to be closed, they're telling people that should you have applications that expire over the holidays, that there's no excuse to say, well, oh, government business were non-operational and, I couldn't get to submit an application. They're reminding people now that they will be closed on Friday. They will also be closed on Monday, the 6th of April, as they observe the Easter holiday. And these hours were placed way in advance. So normal business hours will resume on Tuesday, April 7th. But that does not mean that if you have any applications that, let's say it's a renewal or something that needs to be submitted or a deadline, whatever, maybe you're responding to a deadline for missing information or deferral, and they come with these deadlines, that you use their online portal system, and you can do this 24 hours of the day. So no longer are the days where you would be given a grace period. Dawn knows what I'm talking about. That if there was a long weekend coming up or a public holiday, we would see people rushing in. Back in the days of being an immigration officer, they would be rushing in like tomorrow to do submission, last minute reentry stamps, that sort of stuff. Now, please note, reentry stamps is CBC. Visitors extension is Cayman Border and Customs, okay? So it's a total different department. WORC is for work permit application status, that sort of stuff, permanent residence submissions, those. So it's two different entities. One more for permission to remain and reside. That's the border side of things, your extensions, reentry stamps, that sort of stuff. And then the other department, WORC, what I have up here, is for the submissions of renewals and work permits, that sort of stuff. So what we would have seen back in the days is a slew of people, for whatever reason, making their way to immigration those days, and it would be mayhem. Now with technology, their online submission platform, there's no longer an excuse. That's indirectly what they're trying to say here, okay? There's no more excuses for that. So you want to make sure that you keep up to date. There's no excuse. Remember, if you're late with the submission, let's say of a work permit, even if it's by a day, that person, especially a renewal or a grant, well, grants are different, renewal especially, even if you're late by a day in submission and it's not your fault, okay, the person has to cease working. They would have to go to CBC, get time in order to wait for the outcome of the application, because even though it's a renewal, it was submitted after the expiry of the one that you're coming off. So there is, thank you, Donnie, for doing that. There is no excuse now that there's an online platform is what they're saying. Now, okay, if you got proof that you uploaded that application, you got your receipt, they have an automatic thing to say your application has been submitted, yada, 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 and you got all of those timestamps electronically, then you're good. But if you don't have any evidence of that, and you're 1 day late, you are placing your worker at a disadvantage that could impact your operations, and you can cause somebody to be working without a work permit and overstaying. And in that case, both parties can be held liable. Okay? So with this technology now that they have, and they're saying now there's no value for money with the express fees and all that sort of stuff. And now that they're trying to enhance on their products and their service and their offerings, I go here because we have known situations like this back in the day when we were not online, that you would say, okay, we understand it, whatever. But if you know an application is up for renewal and a long weekend is happening, by right, this same department is asking you to try and put in applications a month before to avoid situations like this. So as they continue to evolve, you may see where the 1 day before the expiry, really, you're splitting hairs. Maybe the minimum threshold for renewals and that sort of stuff, they're going to be probably asking in the future for persons to put it in at least 30 days before expiry so that you don't end up being at a disadvantage. And then you have to contact WORC director. Can you please fast track this for me because of this. Yeah, we know stuff happens. It happens to all of us. But bearing in mind, your business can be impacted and you can have an employee that is not able to work for an extended period of time because of a late submission. And likewise with reentry stamps, if for some reason you go to a country or you leave the country and you don't have any permission to get back in, some airlines will not board you unless you have a valid work permit stamp or a permanent residence or something to get you back in here. And we know that that comes with its own set of challenges. So things and times have changed. Just let you know as well, for those of you who may have forgotten, that the shelter management training, yes, for all of you who want to be a part of the shelter management training, that this for volunteers and managers with the Cayman Islands Red Cross and hazard management, persons who are interested are welcome to join and register online. And these dates for these trainings is the 18th and the 19th of April. These meetings and trainings will be held at the Prospect Primary School from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. So again, this shelter management training as we embark on the hurricane season for this year is if you're interested and want to be a part of this shelter management, these trainings are going to be happening on the 18th and 19th of April at Prospect Primary School from 8:30 until 4. And also the regiment is calling for persons who may wish to join the regiment as well. We know that that leadership has now been passed over to somebody else, and we featured that right here. But they're calling for Caymanians to stand ready and join the Cayman Islands Regiment's reservists. And they have got the QR code here. You scan it if you have an interest. And you can see why, if you got that question, why. Train for regional operations and be ready to support your islands when it matters most. Response to hurricane and take part in overseas training and developments and support your community during major incidents. And also you can work as part of a disciplined and motivated team and serve part-time while building your skills, confidence, pride, and representing the Cayman Islands. So you see the deadline here is for the April the 18th. And yeah, you get paid their benefits as well, because there is an hourly stipend of $14.82 per hour and paid military training and development as well. And there are opportunities to deploy on operations and represent the Cayman Islands. And this allows you then to develop leadership skills, teamwork, and operational skills through real training and deployments as well. But look at the requirements, please. You got to be age 18 and 55, between the ages of 18 and 55. Yeah, between age 18 and 55, be a Caymanian or a permanent resident with the right to work. So you can be a spouse of a Caymanian or someone who's here for 8 years or more with the right to work. And you must be willing to train. You must be willing to work as part of a team, and you must be willing to serve your community. So there's a QR code in case that sparks your interest and you want to be a part of this. Yes, they're doing the call. Let's see. Also, gentle reminder for those of you, remember the Cayman Islands summer internship program is accepting applications. Oh Lord, that passed yesterday. This one slipped to me. The deadline for this was yesterday. So, oops, got to remove that out of my media toolkit. So yeah, that one's passed. If you have it, then you missed it. Now that goes into what we were talking about immigration, because if you're late, you're late. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Why you all so quiet today? You always have something to say, and now y'all quiet on me? What happened? What happened? I've turned the mic over to you, or unafraid because it's All Fools Day. Which one? Oh, I got a message as well from someone wanting to find out that Sandra had posted she did a post on a kitty cat that was in the back of somebody's truck. And I got a message wanting to find out what had happened to the cat. From all accounts, Miss Sandra said that the cat was adopted or it had found a home. So for those of you who are wondering, or I got the message in regards to that. So that's an update there for you. If you were wondering what became of that poor cat, there you have it. So we see where the government here in the Cayman Islands has pushed again the effective date of the immigration implementation of that. We covered that in a news story for you. And a lot of people are saying, we're like, I got a number of comments as well. Is it ever going to come? Oh, it's going to come. It's going to come. That's a fact. That'll come by the hook or the crook. So for all of you who missed the 2-3 previous deadlines, for whatever reason, it coming. You hear what I tell you? So now it's being announced as the 1st of May, because at first it was supposed to be today, All Fools Day. Then we got another date for the 2nd of April. And now the latest date is 1st of May. So that is when, and this for all accounts is just for information for you. This is unsolicited by the WORC or that ministry, but it is that important for you to know what's going on, whether or not they choose to be on certain platforms. We got keep you up to date with what's going on, because that will impact a lot of people. And it goes back into what we were saying about the deadline for submission of renewals and so forth, because that is key to anybody, where it all depends on your eligibility for applying for PR. When that qualification time comes, because there are certain changes, is going to be huge, where like the eligibility for status, which is what people were asking for, is now for 15 years. Now it's going to go to 20 years and all that sort of stuff. But what was placed in the public's domain is that only comes in effect for any applications or persons who come here after the law goes in effect. So if you arrive tomorrow, and this goes in effect on the May 1st now, you would be subjected under the old clause, under the current law that's in effect right now. Yeah. So that is key. There are key things of eligibility. For example, you miss a deadline for the submission of, let's say, a permanent resident application. Say that you're on a government contract, but let's say you're on a work permit and it's your final work permit, and you miss a deadline for the submission of that permanent residence. Guess what? Your entire future is done because of one simple error. And it is just as critical as this law now being implemented. And I'm seeing a number of informations coming across the screen in regards to trying to explain certain things. What does that mean? People are asking for the regulations, for the operational arm. And this is by no means criticizing. This is just facts. This is just facts. With the slippage of implementation date so many times changing, you would think at least the public would be abreast. And again, I stand to be corrected. If the regulations are somewhere out there in La La Land, please let me know. But I don't recall seeing anything. And to me, you're better off with an educated and well-informed society. And that makes the work of your officers as well so much easier when they have the information that's readily available. They're informed properly. They know exactly what's coming. To me, that's less work on you guys. Maybe your phone calls that you say people are calling you so much is because something is wrong with the system, because the information is not readily available or explained in a language where people get it. Or maybe the website is not that easily to navigate. If you got proper working systems, trust me, your phones will not ring. People get it. People understand it. So with all of this pushing back, and we understand the reason, because we know that the systems, not only for the staff, but for your customers, in order for this to be implemented and work smoothly, you want to make sure that it's all gelling. And if it isn't gelling, then don't rush to implement something. People will understand that more when you're clear in your messaging as to why. Outside that, you're again leaving room for speculation for people to say, oh yeah, that's a promise they can't keep, and so forth, right? So the better you are with communicating and getting that out there to various different audiences at different times, and repetition helps. Repetition helps. I'm doing this only because I'm comfortable. I'm not coming after anybody. It's because we're learning in this space. Somebody got to do it. So at the end of the day, with me sharing my knowledge, my insight based on what information is available to me, and I share it with you, that's all I can do at this point. But many of the times, we could be more effective if certain communication was shared and not hold it like it's embargoed because of what? It's the same system that people are going to be using. So you kind of wonder what's up. What is the big top secret? That's just food for thought. So anything right now, based on the latest information coming out of the government, released by that department, it's now for April. It's now for April, not April, May 1st. And whether or not there will be another pushback or delay, I guess it will be warranted if the systems is not working or they're not gelling. Because remember, your staff has to be trained. They need to be informed of what the law is now saying, because they have to answer questions in real time. And like I said, deadlines are critical when it comes to immigration. One wrong date. Example, when does your true term limit start? Sometimes people give you the date of their arrival. Sometimes people give you the date in which they executed a government contract. Sometimes they give you the start date of a work permit. That does not necessarily reflect what may be an immigration system. Sometimes people have to actually get their term limit revisited because their system is not aligning with what stamps you have in your passport, which, my friends, is another important thing. As we see more of an increase where you're not stamping your passports. So you need to keep a check on your ins and outs and that sort of stuff, especially if you are not getting your passport stamped because of the new system. Because there have been times where there has been discrepancies in someone's travel versus what the immigration system actually says. And you see those same little boarding cards? So if you even do them electronically, where you scan your QR code, moving forward, you may want to create a digital wallet for every time you travel for a boarding pass to keep it there. Because a friend of mine was, I had a friend back in the day where they were issued like a ticket, a driving ticket or something like that. Whatever the story was, and this is memory now. The only thing saved them, because the system had them. They had to defend that they were not here, or the payment of a whatever it is. What saved them was their boarding pass. Their boarding pass. And even though one of the key things you are taught when you are an immigration officer on entry and departures back in the day, for God's sake, make sure your dates are right, because you're stamping that into someone's passport. And this particular incident, what saved that passenger to say, I was not here. I was not here. I was not in the islands, was their boarding pass. Because you would think that the stamp in their passport was valid or could confirm that they actually, well, if it's one thing, they should get that right, right? It was just, it happens. It happens. But this particular case, when they showed the passport, they're like, no, but that wasn't the date that I went on. No, it was like on the 12th. And they were saying, no, you went away on the 10th. No, it wasn't the 10th. I went away on the 12th. No, but you were here. No, I was not. And they, by chance, found their boarding pass with their seat number. Yes, with their seat number that saved them. Yeah, Don is saying that back in the day, we sure did and had the stamp book and initial. Yeah, let me tell you. So these are critical things. Even if it was a glitch like that, at least you had the book, that you had something to save yourself. But with all of this digital footprint now, my friends, listen to Sabrina. Just how you have a multitude of pictures on your phones, you create a folder or something that says boarding passes or travel. And the key is not your reservation. Not your reservation. You want something to show where you did that entire process. You were checked in, because you ain't going to have a boarding pass if you never traveled, right? Even though crap can happen and you can be turned back at the gate. That's splitting hairs. You get my point. You don't just want to keep the reservations, because anything can happen. You can be turned back at the gate because you didn't meet the clearances, that sort of stuff, right? But with us going into this digital age now, my friends, for all of us traveling, you want to make sure that you have something saved where you can defend yourself. Because, yeah, Don said we would actually, even the ED cards too, sometimes we would find it. Like I said, Don, things happen. We would initial it. But then the burden of proof, if you're actually challenged, how do you know that that was really, you did that, the officer, versus you did it to save yourself? But what you can't change is the ink that's in the passport. Okay? So I'm telling you, as we go into this digital age and we look at all of these things, these are things that you want to do. Just how you create a family folder where you have everything with your family. You may have some with work. You may have something with a special event. Create a digital thing on your phone, on your device, and capture your boarding passes moving forward, because we are seeing where it increases, where your passports now, there's no sense of you getting extra pages anymore in your travel documents because they're not stamping them anyhow. You're barely even having to show your IDs, your passports when you travel because of all of this facial recognition stuff. So at the end of the day, just how they're doing that to fast track you through the processes and stuff, you need to secure yourself and make sure that you have an independent folder. This is, put it in layman's terms now, this is your digital wallet to secure your travel when you're in and out. You hear them talking about digital wallet for cryptocurrency. We're seeing now where they're not buying the gold bars, but they're buying the gold. I covered it in the news just now. Yeah, you need to do a wallet for your travel stuff moving forward. Take my stupid advice. Trust me, it can save you. It can save you, because you don't want nobody accusing you that you were seen on whatever date at this location and they hold you for, let's say, a crime, and you were not here, a mistaken identity, and you have nothing. Well, you're depending on your passport to show you, and they didn't stamp it. And for whatever reason, boarding pass, I'm good. Push it in the seat back in the front of you. No, those are golden. Take a picture of it and do it where it comes with a backup. You want to start into that process. Denver, thank you so much. Denver is congratulating on the record-breaking viewers to your show. Yes, and we'll continue to grow here, Denver. And people like you were with me from day one, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for the visionary behind the platform as well. Sandra, we could continue to grow, my dear. Plastic Fantastic 5665 says, here in Scotland, there's of UK, the immigration system is completely broken. Here in Scotland, okay. And the rest of the UK, our immigration system is completely broken. I'm seeing where that is actually becoming a problem, where people are even crossing the channel. And this Sir Starmer, that was one of the big things that he campaigned on. And it looks as a little bit relaxed now on certain things. And what we are seeing now, that the people of the UK are very upset, even with his handling, as we've shared here earlier today, with how he's handling in negotiations and stuff, of how he's responding even to this unfortunate situation that we have found ourselves in, of a war that's not a war, that's called a conflict, whatever you want to label it. So you guys are really having some serious issues over there. And I think we covered our headlines as well, Plastic Fantastic, where persons who were operatives for, people in the Far East countries who were waiting for their asylum to come through. Now they have pretty much been given some sort of protection there. And apparently you guys are not for that. So there's a lot going on over there. And this is why here in the Cayman Islands, you have a divide in when certain requests are made of us British Overseas Territories jurisdiction by our mother country, that they're like, clean up your own house first. Don't tell us as a child what to do. We got our act together. You need to deal with your ish. You can kind of see where that animosity would come from, Plastic Fantastic. And many a times the British Overseas Territories have reported that the requests and demands, that sort of stuff from them, are sometimes unrealistic and appears to be unfair, because as children of the United Kingdom, we're held to certain standards. And yes, we're not an independent jurisdiction. So of course we have to go with the winds and the waves and the tide, and hence the role of the governor. But a lot of the times what we're seeing is that you actually see where they don't have their crap together, even in how their parliament works, when we're trying our best to keep above water, still towing the line because of how we are as a British Overseas Territories jurisdiction. And when you look, our house is in order. You see the strength of our currency that's pegged to the US dollar, not commodities and all that sort of stuff. And it's a fine line that we're actually running. So The independence of our elected role and the role that the governor plays here, and when you look at what's happening in the UK, you can understand why some people would be a bit upset with how we are structured right now. Now, that's another show, whether or not we're prepared for independence. No, we're not. We're not. I don't feel at this stage of the game we're mature enough to even think about that at this stage. You see what's happening at our polls as it is, and what it takes to actually pull away. I want you to look back in history and see exactly how others have pulled away back in the day, and where are they right now? Are they better positioned? Are they worse off? So yeah, that's a different conversation that Sabrina ain't taking on alone. That requires a roundtable discussion, and I would love to have all sides being reflected if we should ever embark there one day, to talk about the whole independence thing, and how we are set up as a British overseas territory, because there are other British overseas territory jurisdictions that we're pretty much doing very good. And I'm seeing where people are saying, there's a false sense of security. It's like we're in a bubble because we were British overseas territory. And there's a lot going on. Denver says, no walking dogs, picking up garbage, volunteering to nonprofit organization, Rotary, etc., buying property, an apartment or house for PR or status. I think you were talking about that when I was talking about the whole new law coming into effect. We don't know. We don't know, Denver, because it is stated that, remember now, this is only the first phase of this great immigration reform. And the first phase that still can't get implemented yet was to try and slow down sham marriages. Why it was heavily focused on the RERC, spouse of Caymanians, that sort of stuff. But the PR 8-year that you're talking about for the PR, permanent residents, right? That they're working on that now. So we don't know what the criteria will be under the new point system will be. We don't know what significant changes will become of that, because they're saying that they're doing this in different phases, unless the environment changed to a point where they have to fast track certain things. We saw where a certain executive order was pulled the other day in regards to medical indigent and certain things for immigration that they had to pretty much not come to public for consultation, because they felt that it was one of serious national importance that didn't require them engaging with you, members of civil society. However, as declared, they engage with industry stakeholders, whatever that means. And they felt that it was okay. Now, here we are on All Foods Day, and there has been no riot. The earth is still orbiting. We're still here. So, hey, you got to leave it to the powers that be, right? So, this, as disgruntled as some of you may have been with that move, precedent setting, we have heard members of the opposition saying, look, you can't just get it right. This shooting from the hips thing needs to stop. Hey, the government has the numbers, and you have a say as well. Denver says, because after they get it, that voluntary work stops. In some cases, Denver, I will not paint everybody with the broad brush. I know for a fact right now in a lot of our clubs, our service clubs, i.e. the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens, Rotary as well, a lot of those persons do continue. I'm not going to paint everybody with the same brush, Denver. I could be very honest with you. I have had the pleasure. I have been invited to both groups. And for whatever reason, where I was in my life, I would not have given the best of myself to either of the groups. But I constantly go to more the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens. I have a special place for them. And to be honest with you, it is amazing. Some of those have been with that group from the day they arrived in this country. They have gone through the whole system, gotten their PR, and they're now Caymanian, and they are still very much active. And so I won't say, no, Denver, and I tell you, you got them. You got them that they're putting on this show and they're doing this and they're going to the schools and they're being a part of this organization to get into the know and all of that good stuff. And they don't mean jack. You're quite right. Once they get through, you don't see them read one book to the school. You don't see them handing out one meal. But the networking opportunities that they actually do when they're actually building their whole portfolio for a successful PR submission will get them around tables, sitting on boards and councils that will just blow your mind. And they're not Caymanian yet. But who do you blame? We have discovered here on this show that you do not have to be Caymanian to serve on those boards. So I do not see one expatriate yet sitting around the cabinet and caucus table that can make the decision on the government elected side. Who write the laws? Who assents to those in order for them to become policies and argue them on the floor of Parliament? Our people. And we have identified that the compositions of some boards, of these boards, it doesn't say that you have to be Caymanian or status holder. No, it's a resident, which means you can be on a work permit and sit on any of the boards. Do you understand what I just said? You could be here on a temporary work permit right now and sit on those boards, subject to change, of course, if this is going to be a part of the reform. Yes. So that is where discussion needs to be had. And some of these things, like you say, once they start and they stop, when they get what they want, then they go. You can't blame the people. They have a criteria. They have a criteria and outline. This is what you have to do if you want to get approved. We set that out in the things that you consider for the approval thereof. You can't wrong the people. There's nothing that says you have to maintain volunteering. Then you're not free of immigration control. So we need to know where we want to go. Because at the end of the day, these boards, these councils, and all of these things, they may have the marching order of the government of the day, who the messenger is the minister responsible. But those same boards are governed by a set of legislation, which is the law. And they have in the law what you have to consider for the approval, refusal, revocation. It is between the law and the regulations. All what we're saying sometimes, if it's not covered in law, they cannot do it. And this is why some persons who have been chosen to sit on some of these boards as Caymanians, who are gatekeepers, they get frustrated because they're like, oh my God, our hands are tied. I know that this person shouldn't be amongst us, but when you look at the confined movement that we have to make a yes or a no decision, we can't find in the law where we could say no, because they have checked every box for us not to say no. And if we said no, they're subjected to a right of appeal. And remember, an appeal process is a review to see if you were disenfranchised by the first set of people who looked at your application, and to see if you were at variance with the law, contrary to principle of natural justice. You know, they're different. They're like 5 or 6 different headings. And I'm just doing just by memory right now. But what I'm saying is, if they find that there was no cause for a decision to be reached, under the appeals tribunal side of things, those decisions can be overturned. And even at the appeal stage, you can push it another step further for judicial review. Yes. And they're not to say, do this, do that. They just make sure that the entire process, remember, Mr. Belika was going through that with us, has been followed step by step. So the participation and the contribution, if we want true immigration reform, it is delicate. It is a delicate dance. But we also have to look at other overarching legislation as well, so that we don't end up with hell of a lawsuits, right to family life, and the Constitution being in breach of that as well. Don says, we sure did and had to start. Oh, that's an initial, that's back in the day with the dates. The system we have is not designed for overwhelming amount of people. Oh, that's in the UK. Denver says the UK system broken by the Muslims. There are, I believe, now controlling London, and there are places the police will not even go. Really? I saw something with on a news thing last night where this man is saying, I wouldn't trust my son to walk down the road right now because of being either harassed or bullied or God forbid, molested. And I'm like, what am I watching? This is the great UK. Yeah, that was, yeah, it's really, really, I'm not blaming it on one group or whatever. There are some issues over there. There are some issues there. Plastic says, would you ever push for independence? No, not based on the current landscape at this time. I said it earlier on, maybe that was before you commented. We're not mature enough yet from the political side. I can see it maybe in the future making its head, but we have a lot of maturity to do. And based on the current climate right now, we're not ready. I mean, when you even look at some of the dialogue and the discussions that we're having, we got a lot of maturing to do. And it has been touted before and it has been shot down. But to say that it will not make its head again, because you have some that are ready for it. But whether or not we're ready for that, answering this question now, I would not push for it at this time. No. I have to see a lot more maturity before I can comfortably say, well, we're ready. Oh yeah, we can consider before I'll go there right now. And that is going to take the will of the people. And it's going to take us educating each other in understanding and being able to come to the table and respectfully having some hardcore conversations. And it's going to take a lot of unity if we use examples of other jurisdictions that have opted that route and we saw what has happened to them. Now, what I'm seeing is that unless we band together as a unified force, make it as a cultural thing, that's the first step. We have to actually make sure that we stick together and that we're all pulling in the right direction. We're seeing the pace of delivery right now in certain national priorities and policies that we don't have in place. To even talk about independence now, it would almost be hilarious, to be honest. And anyone who is very serious, not to undermine anybody, they, say otherwise. If you are really having the hardcore conversations with certain things, we're not ready for that, my love. Not yet. But I'm only here for this chapter. I'm trying to create a space. And for the next generation to come on, maybe they may be different. We have a lot of young men and women right now who are actually doing wonders. And they are very instrumental in the youth parliament. We see an example. We see their young men and women, even in the private workforce, and the Proud of Them campaign and that sort of stuff. Our future looks bright, but we got to create that environment for them. And they're not going to be like a me. They could be different. And you can even see with the young kids right now that they're coming up and they're like this. So to tell you that it will not make its head at the end of the day? Oh, hell yes, it will. Betty Wilson, yes. Hi, my name is Sabrina. Good night, Sandy. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Miss Betty. I get confused all the time. This name, Real Alfred Real. If you're there, you see, Miss Betty is calling me Miss Sandra as well. It's a joke, Miss Betty. We had a little Miss Melita. I've got to call you tomorrow. To get your gift certificate. Finally ventured out. So yeah. Miss Betty, I went to an event. Not so sure if you were listening that day. And as a member of God, I was acting premier as well, covering for a number of positions that weekend. And I was introduced to Sandra Turner. And I just sat there with poised and dignity and grace. I did not correct. So funny that you said good evening, Sandra, because that now happens a lot, but it is what it is. But yes, it's good to have you with us though. The Cayman Islands is a British overseas territory jurisdiction. So the answer to this, GBR, is my nationality. Yep. Denver says, and going back to 1989 and 2008, initiative plans to government, I can confirm that government is now implementing some of the master ground road works. Really? Yes, you're right. Some have blended into our community and contribute to Cayman. Yeah. So, yeah, but I think if you even go back, Denver, on the whole master ground roads plan, if we're going back as far as 1989 and 2008, here we are in 2026, just trying to still get a decision on a route for the extension of a bypass. You hear was it? Make it make sense. Marshall, you're late to class. All Fool's Day. What were you doing? Happatom Fool's Day. What mischief were you up to today? But it's always good to have you in the house. Keith says, these people will regret getting Cayman status and living on Grand Cayman. Tell me how you came up to that. Tell me how, because it looks as though it's the golden ticket. Keith, these people will regret getting Cayman status and living on Grand Cayman. Why? Share it with me, Keith. Give me some more context for that statement. Because I would really like to know from what angle you're coming from that, because eventually, if we go independent, I'm trying to see where it's connected into the conversation. Shamble says, separate and then annex the rest of the country. Lord, I don't know. Let me tell you, we ain't got enough land space to even do that. Damien says, Cayman is so divided right now, not even think about going for independence. Damien, you said a mouthful there, my love. Yeah. When I say here, with all due respect, grace, we are a divided society right now. Because when I say we're at a crossroads, that's an understatement. Because we're still trying to hold on to our culture. We're trying to confirm who we are as a people. We're seeing where we're struggling with immigration reform. We're seeing where we're struggling with making the right decision in the best interest of continuity, sustainability, and the future versus political re-election. And hence me saying what I said before. You still have a lot of people saying that they do not even like the single member constituency. And they want to go back to a similar system that we had before. People are still very vocal saying that they would like to be able to be in a position where they can choose to premier. So these are all conversations that, unless you get a roundtable group that is a mix of all sectors and all classes and creed of society, to get some sense of a temperature check as to where we want to go. And we do this whole Vision 2008 thing again, that we were talking about to get that modernized, then we don't have a master plan for our trajectory as a country. And back then, 26 years ago, we see where we got it right, but it was never really implemented. We keep talking about it, but we are at that crossroads right now that I feel the time is right. And I feel that if we bring that document back to the table, it is a good starting point, because from all accounts, people were saying we were on the right path. And like I said, 26 years ago, if we got it right, and you can sit now in 2026, right? And you can say, well, if we had done this, that, we would not have had this and that and that. Then it tells me that that document still holds serious ground and foothold today. So why not? Why not bring it back? Why not? As a national plan that had all of those things in it. We did what, 2 days? Was it 2 days or 3 days show on that Vision 2008? And here we are bringing it up again. So when you look at even the conversations that are being had, even though it's related to different topics, some way, somehow, it still points back. If we had only implemented Vision 2008, it's still going back to those documents. From development to road, for infrastructure, for education, immigration reform, for our culture, for our identity, for all of that sort of stuff. If we had actually even thought about implementing it and putting something enshrined in there that, even for successive, but it says you can't hold another government hostage or cuffed to any decisions, but that wasn't like a policy, like a plan for a road or a school or a hospital or you understand what I'm saying? That was the people's voices that charted. They were architects of where the Cayman Islands go in the future. It's not the same as a capital project. It's the voice of the people. So I think that's the first step. And if we could actually get over that hump, maybe I would see some glimmer of hope and light to say, okay, we're down a road to maturity. We have some very learned senior persons in our society, individuals in our Caymanian society that continues to go out and beat the drum. They got them called walking historians. You know who I'm talking about. There are a number of them. And then you'll have the other flip side of that to say, I respect them. But a lot of them are in positions as well. And all they're doing is talking, because it says it takes two hands to clap. 2 hands to clap. And this is where this collective responsibility around a table can cause chaos and strife. Because one pulling in one direction, the other one pulling in the next direction, and the people are not being filled in. There's a void, there's a gap. And when the people feel that they're not being listened to, when they're not heard, when they don't feel valued, guess what? This is what you have every election cycle, a pendulum. And you don't get steady. You don't. So I think spaces like this, your feedback, you becoming more aware, more informed, more educated. We do it in layman's terms to break certain things down to you. Even though it takes a lot of time and your feedback matters, it counts. You're in a better position to make an informed decision. You're in a better position for when you hear certain things being spewed to be able to decipher crap from bull crap. You're in a better position. So I think as we continue to evolve, as we continue to develop, and find our voices and do our own research and don't just fall for handouts. Hold people accountable, even for their behavior when they're on their own time, as long as they're holding certain roles. They will understand it's a new day because you ain't dumb and you're no longer left in the dark. It is too much information out here between podcasts, YouTube, that you can go back and you can connect the dots and see what is being said for you to be caught blindsided by a lie. And don't make them tell you about it's AI. We have gotten to the point now where there is no excuse for making bad decisions on anything. And if you're like me, when you hear me ask a question, many a times I know the answer. I'm trying to see how honest you are. And it's not a trick. Many a times I have an idea of what the answer should be, or most times I know what an answer should be. But you ask the question to really see the body language, to really hear what they're going to spew, to try and pull you one way or the other. And this is where all of us need to get when you have an informed, educated society where no man is left behind, you get different outcomes. Denver says, we're far, far away from even thinking about independence. What Caymanians needs to do is stand up and speak out and unite and help protect our very own people and country. If we can't do that, how we even think about independence. Thank you, Denver. You said it. You said it. And that's where the maturity comes in, Denver. You were quite right. If we can't band together without emotions and trying to change, yesterday was profound. And I got some messages afterwards, right? About our history and our women. And say what you want. You may not like some of the people that are serving, have served, for whatever reason. But let me tell you something. They all got duly elected. And whether or not you appreciate the role that they did, or you like them as an individual, that shouldn't matter. They're a part of our history. And when you get your emotions all balled up into making certain decisions, you then wonder why we get certain results. You then wonder why we get certain personalities holding certain positions. Because we get our emotions tied up in certain things where emotions sometimes don't belong. And certain decisions in the trajectory and the path of your country, you just have to look at who you feel can deliver and do a job and not get emotions involved. You're going to end up with results that is not what you deserve. And that sometimes blindside our decisions, because you will vote for somebody, for example, just using this as an example, just because they went to school with you, or they family to this one or that one, or yeah, if I vote for that one, boy, I could get on that board. Yeah. Really? Really? That's all? It's bigger than that. Much, much bigger than that. But as we continue to mature and develop in this space, it'll all make sense. Keith says, if Cayman becomes independent, the value of our dollar will stay the same. Where you come with that from? How you know that? Is that a statement? Or that's a question? Keith, I'll challenge you to go everywhere else and look and see what happened. And with what's happening with the volatility right now, not being no big time economist or whatever, the Cayman Islands dollar is pegged to the US currency, even though it's locked in at the rate, and that's gone back for years. We're not pegged to commodities. We're pegged to the US currency. Okay? And if whatever we're seeing flundering is happening, don't think we're not at risk. You see what I tell you, that sometimes we're in a bubble, false sense of security? Don't put your neck on the block for that. I know that certain people will caution you, and this is not fear mongering. Those blanket statements are not 100%. We are pegged to the US currency. We're locked in at the rate so it doesn't fluctuate, that if their dollars move this one, that one, whatever, it doesn't impact our value. How long can we hold if certain things, certain personalities remain? And we're seeing now where things are shifting to the other part of the world, to the Asian countries. You see, they're trying to get themselves independent. Yeah. Be careful. But yeah, it'll be interesting, Keith, how that happens. Bonjour. Denver say the late, great Bo Miller told our government 30 years ago, the ball is in our court and we better do the right thing or there will be no return for us. You know, that man was a visionary. That is so true, Mr. Denver. There are a lot of things that Mr. Bo Miller made, God rest his soul, said that is coming to fruition right now. He and so many others as well. And he ran for political office, but was not successful at the polls. But yeah, Mr. Bo did say a lot. He did say a lot, and it's coming to pass right now. He said to survive in Cayman as a Caymanian, you need to be paid $3,500 or more a month. Yeah, and above. It all depends, to be honest, because we're having persons right now. I gave a story, Keith, of a family, young Caymanian family, one child, and they're right now trying to look refinancing and that sort of stuff. We were just talking, and right now their household between the two is about 10 to 15,000 a month, and they can barely qualify for a house of 500,000. So, yeah. When you see government right now, I think there are certain departments, I stand to be corrected, that, are people in the DEH can't go home with under $3,000, or that's across government. Yeah, we've had persons working there for years on top of years that were not going home with $3,000. So you're talking about private sector. I think when you go and you look at that, just the cost of living, the national average, you would probably say comfortably the living wage could possibly top up at $5,000 a month. And you're like, holy smoke, where's she's going with that? You heard what I said. When you look at GDP and you look at the cost of living for us, for anyone to live sensibly, I think I would put in a wager that if they be honest with their numbers, they would probably come closer to 5,000 CI a month take home. So we're 1,500 shy of that. Bo had a vision. There are suggestions he made to our government. Had those suggestions, Caymanians would have been an income other than depending on pension, which I believe we're losing more money on an annual than profit. Yeah, because they wager it and as stocks go up and down, it all depends. They lose. And we are seeing how volatile the markets are right now with everything that's going on. And we're seeing where some people, though, are really making billions of dollars because of the stocks and divesting of stocks based on what it is alleged. Like somebody think there could be some insider tradings that are going on. I saw a video where there's a particular account that they went and they divested a lot of stocks and then invested in a lot of stocks for oil or whatever it was. It was hedged. It was hedged on what announcement the president was saying. And it aligned, and they made billions of dollars when the markets closed. That was yesterday or day before yesterday. And they're looking at a trend for this specific account, and they're wondering whose actually those accounts are for. So there are people right now with all of the crude going up and down and all of this. There are people that are making billions. And then there are others who are just cringing and having panic attacks and dying because of stress. But there are going to be some billionaires that come out of this if you really understand the markets. I'm not in it. I'm just doing what I have to do to research myself to see the environment that we're in. And I'm telling you, something is up. And not everybody, it's not a level playing field for sure. And this game is so big right now globally that where the world is right now, 20% of the whole world depends on this Hormuz, the straits and all that sort of stuff. And you're seeing where the other part of the world is just sorting themselves out. I saw where Africa was providing oil, the African crude oil now in their refineries are pretty much what's sustaining places and jurisdictions such as the Philippines. Whereas prior to that, they weren't looking at them. So emerging markets right now, because of what's happening in energy, are actually becoming more attractive for sustainability and independence and not just depending on one source, which is when you look at the trickle down effects and how it's traveling and how it will eventually impact the Cayman Islands. We're on the last end because we're not on their power grid. And how we go through getting our oil and that sort of stuff, it's a delayed effect. But I can see the caution, and at least they're proactive in letting us know exactly what's happening. And that's CUC, kudos to you. And it's going to hit us hard. We're going to really see a big difference in our bills. So there are certain behaviors right now. If you can implement those, try do it from now, because the summer is going to be brutal with our bills. And remember now, it's not your consumption, it's the cost of fuel. And that's what they're trying to tell us. That's really what they're trying to tell us. So I would say we just have to do the right thing. If you can go without putting on lights longer, if you can go without dropping that thermostat, let's say till 8, 9 o'clock at night when you're retiring into your room, you may have to do some adjustments, because remember, you're paying a bill like a month behind. So you will not see the impacts of what you're doing now until the next bill. So if you start making those adjustments from knowing this, and as what CUC said, look at the alerts. You cannot say they're not cautioning us. They're cautioning us. Yep. Denver says, that's a statement unless our government can make a deal with America. Okay, thank you for that. He said, Mr. Ezard Miller said that the value of our dollar would stay the same. Yeah, we have that locked in, but should we actually go independent, the negotiation and the rules of the game are changed? Would we still be looked at as a financial haven? Would we still have that safety net? This is why, Keith, all of the conversations would have to be had. We're looking at a new constitution. We're looking at a whole governance structure. Everything else would change. That doesn't just happen saying, look, we're pulling out from you, The judicial arm and all of that sort of stuff. You're seeing where Jamaica themselves are trying to become a republic. They still have a governor general over there because their judiciary is still under the UK system. So it's not as simple as you think, but going back to the currency, the rules of the game and the conversations around the table will change. Trust me. Denver says, those were investments Bo made that we Caymanians would have a part of our government's investment would. Plastic Fantastic says, it's the same here. The cost of living is out of control. The cost of food since COVID has almost doubled. And I'm seeing where you guys are. They're actually, where did I see that? Was it on BBC today? Where they're trying to do a stimulus where they help with the cost of utilities. Is that it? What's this, a Peppa Pig? It's something with them where they're trying to do a stimulus to help people with the rise in utility bills. That energy bill support would be based on household income. And this is based on the UK Chancellor. Yeah, this is breaking news coming out of, thank you for sharing that. This is what's coming out of the UK. Government support with energy bills pushed up by Iran war would be based on household income, and the chancellor told BBC she hinted help might not come until autumn. So what's going to happen to those people in between that time? Yeah. So you're seeing where it doesn't impact and certain things don't take effect, giving you that relief immediately, because they're saying wholesale oil and gas prices have soared over the past month, with supply from the Middle East severely disrupted, while home energy bills are set to fall between April and June under Ofgem's price cap. There is likely to be a big jump after that. Guys, this is what our very own is trying to tell us. Okay. So be prepared. But yeah, we'll keep following this for you as we get the latest information out. So the warning bells has been sounded, and to say that our government is not going to be proactive, I can't speak on their behalf, but we get all of these warnings. You got to prepare yourself. Remember, I said, do not depend on the government to do everything for you. Some of the things you have to do to try and help yourself, because they're responsible for everyone, yes, but you can't not see the freight train going to hit a wall and not try to protect yourself. Meaning, try to do the necessary adjustments within your individual households as best as you can right now to prepare for what is going to be an eventuality and a reality. And we know that the hurricane season is coming up and all that sort of stuff. So God, please bless us. Nobody don't need anything right now with everything that's happening. Yeah. So yeah, we got to try to do what we got to do. It said, Plastic Fantastic says the poor always suffer the most. Yes. While the rich seems to always get richer. And that is obviously playing out right here, right now. And this is why this keeping them dumb and under your thumb, that's a choice that we don't have to remain there anymore. The power is at your fingertips, which is why many a times I tell you all, I challenge you to go back and check what I am saying. There's a reason why I can tell you that, is because I want you to get used to going and researching some of these things for yourself. And let me save this because I got want to share something with you guys. I challenge you to go and check it out for yourself. So there is no way, and when you connect the dots, don't just, a WhatsApper was talking to me just before coming live, and they were saying, you know, what we're seeing around the world is, they were saying, you know, it goes beyond the issues that we're seeing right now, goes beyond local shores, which is a fact. I had to agree with them. And this is why we take the opportunity sometimes to, as boring as it may seem to some of you, I take the time and the opportunity to share what's happening in the region and share with you all that's going on, because you need to know. We can't stay with our head in the sands. And then for those who don't understand it themselves, they'll say, you know, they're fear mongering or you're just blowing an unnecessary. When it come out that it's a reality, you can't say Sabrina didn't say. You can't say I didn't tell you. Hey, Rosie Rose, how you doing? How you doing, my sweet? Good evening to you on this fabulous Wednesday evening as the sun has set here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. Remember, rain is in the forecast and it's going to go straight into Friday, from what I'm hearing. So all you campers out there, make sure you got sturdy tents. Yep. Aye, that's good. Thank you, Rosie Rose. Denver says, that's the problem with democracy. Too many people believe their government should take... Aye, you hit it right there.
God.
And it's not a free lunch, Denver. You're quite right. It's not a free lunch. Thank you so much. And to you as well. Please be safe yourself. Which is a perfect segue, Rosie Rose, for us to go into here. I just want to share this with my brothers and sisters over there in the BRAC, Cayman BRAC. They are going to be, the Spot Bay Committee is having their 5th annual Easter in the Park. That's happening on the 11th Yes, yes, yes. And that is going to be from 3 p.m. Spot Bay Community Park. Look at this, guys. Free cotton candy and snow cones. Free face painting, free ice cream and pizza. The Popo Jabs are who? Good God, I can feel my hips now. Lots of games and music, and they're even going to have a mini gospel concert. Oh, how sweet. They're going to have a secret garden egg hunt as well and discover the golden egg. That's always been my favorite. Oh my goodness. Yes. So why not just give a big shout out to the Spot Bay Committee and help them promote this event? Yes, because I know Planta Anna going over there for the Easter. So you want to take the little ones out and to support this event. And it's just something magical over in the Brack to all of my family and friends and huge Sabrina Speaks supporters as well. I know you spot me. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Stealing. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Thank you so much for your support. It's not stealing as in theft. That's what I used to call their brother. So when I'm saying stealing, it's you that I'm speaking to. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, we got big up Sanya today too. Why not? Why not, Sanya? My friend, all my Kim and Brack peeps. So if you're going to be in the Brack for the Easter holidays, please go out and support this event for their 5th annual Easter in the Park 2026. It's going to take place Saturday, the 11th of April from 3 to Spot Bay Community Park, where they're going to be having free snow cone, face painting, ice cream, and pizza. And you may want to join in the golden egg hunt. Maybe you'd be lucky. You're lucky. I always look forward to that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Are you kidding me? We have come to an end of this episode of Sabrina Speaks. And even though it was an open mic, and I had me talking, and thank you for commenting. And where's Siobhan? She must be, hope she ain't got no reaction from the barrel she was cutting away. But yeah, I thank you for all of your interactions. Thank you for continuing to share and subscribing to this platform as we continue to build. It's an easy week this week as we head into the Easter festivities. Please don't forget the meaning of the season, even though it's tradition here for us to go out and camp. And I think, I'm going to still cover for all of those who are not used to, who may be new to our shores and not understand our culture and may see all of these tents and think that's how we live. No, you got it wrong. That's not how we live. This is our culture. This is a tradition over the Easter. And remember, I wanted to bring that to the headlines, to people's forefront. Maybe I'll cover that tomorrow. I may or may not have a guest tomorrow. So we'll play it by ear here. But the phone lines and the mic is always open because this is your space. And it'll be no different tomorrow. But as we head into the Easter holiday season, we know a lot of people are on the water. I want to ask you to exercise caution. We know that a lot of people are leaving their homes and they're going to camp. We want to make sure that you take all the precaution you can to secure your places while you're out. And there's one thing is sharing all of the beautiful things that you're doing at your campsite. But remember, when you're doing that, you're giving your location that probably nobody is at home. So you want to make sure you secure your property if you're actually going to be out, or you make sure you come back and you check at different intervals, make sure your place is lit, that you don't have anything that's visible for prowlers, because people with bad intentions do have their agenda set and they will take advantage of you while you're out in our tradition. And also, for all of you who are camping out there, please reach out to the Department of DEH, Mr. Richard Sims. It's not too late. You can probably arrange to collect the necessary garbage bags, or I'm not so sure, can't speak on their behalf. If you haven't already done it already, and while supplies last, should they have those DEH drums? And the important thing is, once you leave your campsite, for God's sakes, clean it up. If we're going to embrace this and label this as a Caymanian culture, we want to make this 2026 Easter holiday a record breaking, where people would be like, wow, they cleaned up. This is Cayman. They were here for over a week and the garbage is not all over the place. They cleaned up their beach sites. Wow. Yeah. You don't want to leave that impression otherwise. So make sure you use the right receptacles. Make sure you carry sturdy bags. And please remember to do everything as safe as possible, but be smart about it as well. It has been my pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks here on this Wednesday as we say adieu to All Fools Day 2026. And I thank you all for joining with me, for sharing your pictures, for sharing the love, your commentary, and all and sundry. I really, really appreciate it. Please, from wherever you're joining us from, have a good morning, a good evening, good night, and until tomorrow, God bless. Love you lots. Good night.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.